Hello, everybody. How you doing? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of this Mortgage Boss Talk Tuesday. Here to answer your questions, talk to you about some financial decisions as it pertains to helping you purchase your first home or maybe your second home. Just want to come and have a place for everybody to come and be able to talk with a trusted, licensed loan officer. I know a lot of times we get information from various sources, Instagram, TikTok, other YouTube channels, and things like that. But I am a licensed loan officer, been a loan officer for over 8 years, and I have had experiences in purchasing my own home as well. So I am here to see what I can do to help get you into your new house, whether it's investment or if it's a primary residence. But thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. I am a little bit tardy for the party. It is 7. I was supposed to be here at 6:45, but things happen. But I wanted to start with giving a special shout out to somebody that always joins me. It feels like for the past month I've been coming every Tuesday, and Out Here Trucking has he gave me a cash out last week, and I didn't see it until after I got off of the live stream. So I did go ahead and make him the stream sponsor, and just wanted to acknowledge him so much for his support in not only just showing up, but helping to fund the cause. So thank you so much. So he's going to be our stream sponsor today based off of not just last week, but all of the prior weeks that he has joined me. So you guys, I'm going to talk to you about a couple things and then kind of jump in to answer any questions that you may have, and also share some questions that I have seen and received over the last week or so since we last met. Um, so is it spring break where y'all are? Because spring break for us, for my son's school, it starts next week, and we're gonna go on a little vacation. And I'm so excited because I need a break. I've been burned out for a while now, so hopefully having a change of scenery will allow me to kind of get my mojo back. But did y'all know? I'm just go ahead and get into it though. But did you guys know that the month of April is Financial Literacy Month? It's Financial Literacy Month. And I'm really excited because I didn't know until yesterday when I started kind of doing some research to see what I was going to talk about today. And I'm really excited about it because, financial literacy is something that, they're trying to rebrand as financial education. It's not something that they teach in high school. It's not something that, is explicitly taught in college. You kind of fail forward a lot of times and you fumble your way through it. And I'm excited to be able to share different things um, to help further the cause and make sure that everyone is equipped with the same knowledge to make good decisions. But there's been a little bit of a controversy of if you wanted to call somebody financially literate because they feel like, oh, well, that's a little bit offensive, or call it financial education. But I looked up the definition, and I wanted to frame our conversation today based off of that. So, y'all, what is financial literacy? So, just to give you some bullet points, basically, it is knowing how to make smart financial decisions that is related to budgeting, related to saving, related to making decisions on favorable loan terms, credit. It's related to different vehicles and understanding the different vehicles for retirement. But on this channel, more or less, we just focus really on purchasing the home. But what a lot of people don't realize is buying a house is not just for the purpose of you having somewhere to live. It's an avenue or a vehicle that's used for you to be able to acquire some money to be able to put into other spaces as it pertains to retirement or other financial goals that you may have. I know I've shared this in the past, but in the height of the pandemic when home prices were going up, 20%, 30%, People were buying houses and a year later cashing out, getting $100,000 and reallocating that money and putting it into a business if they wanted to start a business, or pay off debts and just kind of hit the reset button on their finances. So it can be used for a whole lot of things. But recently, and y'all, I hope that this works, because this is like the fourth time that I've tried to share something and it didn't work out. But recently I read a couple of articles that I think makes a lot of sense to share, because we are talking about financial literacy and the fact that you kind of don't really know what you're doing until you know what you're doing, right? So in the past couple of weeks, there's been some articles related to the way that Americans are living as we head into this recession, and as inflation seems to really be taking over. And I hope y'all can see this. Can you see it? Yes, thank God y'all can see this. Okay. All right. Y'all look at this. It says here that 62% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck amid inflation, and more people have a side job. This is where the whole like savings thing comes to play when you start talking about financial literacy and saving for a rainy day, because a lot of people don't realize that there's a cycle when it comes to finances. Everybody's not going to always be up, but everybody's not going to always be down either. When you start talking about inflation and the economy and the cycle, it's about a 7-year cycle. And when you're making a lot of money, in theory, like when you have a job that you have a lot of commissions or things like that, ideally it's like, oh, you really want to spend it, spend it, spend it. But what ends up happening is, or what's supposed to happen is, you're supposed to save your money for a rainy day. Well, y'all, these rates are up and it is raining. Okay. And so even though they're saying that we are having a period of inflation and things are going up, and I've said on my channel that things are going up because people won't stop spending money. They won't stop going to the mall. They won't stop going to Dubai. They won't stop going on vacations and all of these things. And so because people haven't pulled back on their spending, the cost of goods are continuing to increase and just very, very, very slowly come down. But it says 62% are living paycheck to paycheck, and it's causing more people to get a side job, which is, I mean, effectively a part-time job. But these side jobs look a little bit different now than they used to look. You might be door dashing, or selling things on Etsy, or starting a YouTube channel. Hey, y'all. There's a lot of different ways to make side money now. So it may not be going out, getting a part-time job at McDonald's and clocking in for 4 hours and going home. Which, side note, y'all see what's going on at McDonald's? They getting ready to lay a lot of people off. They closed their corporate offices yesterday so they could get the paperwork together and give people their marching papers. But anyway, so yes, so 62% of people are living paycheck to paycheck, as of February. It says that people don't have enough money to go around, and a part of the reason, and I've explained this if you have missed it, the way that it works with the Fed increasing interest rates is, effectively, the interest rates that they're increasing is the cost for these companies to borrow money. So you might find that your credit card bills are getting higher and higher, and it's harder and harder to pay it down. So you're allocating more funds to go toward that. These automobile payments are getting higher and higher because of the interest rates that are associated with that. The fact that we're having some issues with supply and demand are causing the parts and things to be higher. So effectively, the $5,000 a month that you made in 2019 or in 2020 goes significantly faster now in 2023 than it did back then. When we were going from 2021 into 2022, I remember reading something that said that on average, Americans were going to spend $5,000 more year over year because of the inflation. And so this article absolutely makes sense. 62% is more than half, y'all. That's 6 out of 10 people that are, I guess on struggle street is a good way to say it. Whereas, I mean, a lot of people, this isn't anything that's new, but it's becoming, like I said, more and more insurmountable to get the debt that you already have under control. And we haven't even factored in the fact that we're not currently making payments on our student loans. So when you start factoring the student loan payments in there, I would anticipate this number would go up even more. And so, the pandemic related benefits are scaled back. So that means that the money that people may have been getting for food stamps has been scaled back. A lot of the emergency fundings that were going on with helping with bills or helping with rents, that's starting to go away or has already gone away. And so you end up in a scenario where you have a lot of bills, not enough money, the money that was there when you were able to collect the supplemental income has dried up, and we don't have a financial plan to resume life after that, to have a normal life, so to speak. And so this is very telling, because I always, like, jokingly but not jokingly say, like, y'all, like, why is everybody rich on Instagram? Like, everybody is rich on Instagram. Everybody has designer bags. Everybody has designer shoes. Everybody is going to brunch looking like they are on an episode of Housewives of Potomac. It just is a lot. People are driving extraordinarily fancy cars. I don't get it, but I need to know where these people are getting this money from, because, like I said, if people are living paycheck to paycheck with basic stuff, I mean, are people, are they scamming? Is that where this extra money coming from? Are they scamming the people? Because that might be. I hope, but it can't be that many scammers that are out here. I don't know, but it is something that I always wonder. And I always say, we tend to think that a certain segment of the population is considered quote unquote poor, but it isn't that. It's more, I think, that the funds are being allocated to other things. So nearly half of Americans have a side hustle amid inflation to be able just to keep up with their bills. This isn't like a side hustle to, like, get ahead. This is just a side hustle to make ends meet and make sure that you have enough money to do what you need to do from month to month. So this is very, very, very interesting. And then it has some tips here, but I'm actually going to share some different tips in a minute here. But 62%, y'all. So if more than half of the Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, who do y'all think is footing the bill for all this fun that everybody is having? Like, where could all of the money be coming from for the, fancy cars, fancy clothes, the trips, the brunches, the dinners at the 5-star restaurants? Because when people go on vacation, they don't just go on vacation. They don't be at the Holiday Inn or the Days Inn. Like, people are out here whole live living. So where do we think that money is coming from? Because I can tell you. Where y'all think it could be coming from? Look at this. Where is the money coming from? Your mama. It's coming from, oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, it's coming from parents. Look at this. Amid inflation, nearly half of parents are financially supporting their adult children. Half. Now, my kid is 14 years old. Okay, so he's still I'm still supposed to be taking care of him. But grown people. And I'm gonna tell you what I know and not what I heard. When I pull credit reports, well, no, two things. One, a lot of people are always saying, well, who can afford a $3,000 a month mortgage? Who can afford, a $3,500 a month mortgage? Who is putting down 20% on a $500,000 house? And my answer is a lot of people. But the part that I don't tell y'all is it be these parents. These parents, these moms, these dads are out here making car payments. So they'll co-sign on a car and the kid, I'll see it and they'll be like, oh, okay, I see you have a $650 BMW payment. And they'll say to me, oh no, I don't make that payment. My mom pays that for me. Oh, okay then. Or student loan payments. Oh, my dad pays those for me. Um, that's it. These parents are funding these Instagram lifestyles. Now, is that the case for everybody? No, but it's the case for a lot of people. I see it every single day when I'm pulling these credit reports. Parents are funding the Instagram lifestyle that you jealous of. Now, I don't know about y'all, but my mama ain't buying me lunch. She ain't giving me gas money. None of that. My life don't go like that. But this is very interesting to me because like I said, when it comes to purchasing a home, parents are what we call non-occupying co-borrowers, meaning, they'll go on the loan. So then that way it increases the applicant or the child, so to speak. It'll increase their income so they can afford more house because $1,700 a month in a mortgage payment isn't going to go very far. So you take, Ashley's, $6,000 a month income and you add mom's $6,000 a month income, you know, on paper, she can afford significantly more, especially if mom is like, oh, well, I'll help her pay it. I really wanted to get a house so bad. I read a statistic not too long ago that said 40% of homeowners don't even have a mortgage payment. So when you couple all of these things together, mom may own a house with no mortgage. Son and or daughter may need an additional boost to help get them into a house. This makes complete sense. Look at this. It says to keep up with rising costs, many young adults turn to a likely safety net, their parents. Not me though, because that ain't my life. From buying groceries to paying for their cell phone plan or covering health and auto insurance. 45% of parents with a child 18 or over provides them with at least some financial support. Now, I'm gonna get on the soapbox real quick and I'm gonna say this. Parents that kick their kids out of the house when they turn 18 years old, that's a crying shame. I don't stand by it. I don't like it. I hate it. You're setting them up for failure. An 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old is not ready to go out into the world because all they're gonna do is struggle. It's a setup for complete failure. They'll never be able to save up enough money for a down payment. They'll never be able to save up enough money to pay cash for a car. They won't. And so I pray to God, even though, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. Because I wasn't afforded these opportunities. But I hope to God that I'm able to at least get my son started out in life so he doesn't experience this. And then he starts so well that he won't have to turn around and come back home, at 27, 28 years old, 29 years old, or have to ask me, Mama, can you give me $1,000 for this or $1,000 for that? Look at how much parents are spending. It says that on average, these parents are spending more than $1,400 a month helping their adult age children, grown ass kids, make ends meet. Now, some people, not me, I'm not some people, will argue, well, they're living beyond their means. They should live below their means. But, my argument to that is life costs what life costs. When you start now, you can't necessarily run out and get a job that pays you $75,000 a year to be able to comfortably afford a $2,000 a month apartment. You may not be in a situation where you can have a roommate. It's a lot of things that go into that. But parents are supplementing their kids' lives, y'all. $1,400 a month. $1,400 a month. Let me see, what is this? Let me try and do some quick math, because I really need y'all to hear what I'm saying. 1,400 times 12, that's $16,000, $16,800 a year. That's a down payment for a house. That's I would say it's a Honda Accord, but it's not. What is that? That's like a Kia. Do you even have $16,000 cars anymore? But it's definitely a used car, a pre-owned vehicle. Like, parents are out here trying to make sure that these kids are out here able to go to Dubai, able to go to Hawaii. They out here want to make sure that they kids can get their $400 weaves. Weave. I don't want y'all to mistake that for any other word. I mean, they might be funding that too. I don't know. I don't know how y'all get down. But anyway, I don't know. But y'all, $1,400 a month is not a little bit of money. So I understand that inflation has taken everything up, but what's happening is it's impacting how much that parents are able to put toward their own bills and put toward their own retirement. Now, I'm not going to get into all of that, but it is basically saying right here that they're giving the kids $2,100 a month on average, while only giving themselves $643 a month toward their retirement. And they're already of a, retirement age or nearing retirement. So I say that to say it's up, things are expensive, but we've got to learn the skills that are needed for you to be able to save efficiently and effectively, live on what you have, make sure that we're establishing good habits and paying things on time. So in light of, like I said, it is Financial Literacy Month, I wanted to go over 10 money management tips here. But before I get into that, hey chat, how y'all doing? Thanks for watching today. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat so I'll be able to answer them. Also, if you haven't already liked this, please go ahead and hit the like button for me. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe for me. I'd appreciate that a lot. So I have a question here from Mr. CKB. He says, hey, Mr. CKB, how you doing? He says, could you tell us the perks of buying land as opposed to a house? Sure, it's cheaper. It's cheaper. But the thing is about land is people think it's something that you could just flip right away. Like, oh, I own land. And then like next year it's gonna be double. And that's not necessarily the case. Depending on where you purchased it, you might have to sit on that for 20, 30, 50 years. So I live in an area that used to be farmland just 15 years ago. So much so I can walk to one of my neighbors' houses and they have horses in their backyard. When I moved over here 5 years ago, there was like 2 or 3 houses that were owned by the same family, but different family members lived in or whatever. And they had cows. Like, you could see this like driving down the street, like a regular street, not like a dirt road or anything, like driving down the street and it's cows just out grazing. And there had been this like 5-year, 6-year long battle because they were wanted to sell the land and somebody wanted to buy it, but there was some issues with how they the plans being approved or something like that. And so they made a killing. They made more than $1 million, but they'd had that land had been in their family for over 100 years. So buying land is great if it's something that is going to be a part of your overall financial plan for your family in the future, or if you're young, but isn't it something that you could just I'm gonna get these couple of acres of land, $20,000 for these couple of acres of land, and next year I'm gonna sell it. It just, I mean, I wouldn't bank on that. It's definitely a long-term wealth strategy, especially if you're in an area like where I live. I live in the South, and for the most part, because we had cotton fields and lots and lots and lots of land and acres, we weren't having to have multifamily homes. We were able to be spread out. And so because the city has been so spread out, land is becoming more finite. So having real estate of any kind is always going to be something that's going to go up over the course of time, because you can't make more land. And so here in Charlotte, we have one last large piece of undeveloped land, and they broke ground on that last week. I saw on the news, and that plan had been in the making for over a decade. So if you own land, hold on to it. And one part could be if you want to buy land and build a custom house. That's certainly something that's great. But overall, land is definitely something that's long term. You playing a long game when it comes to purchasing land. So good question. Now, I don't have a land loan, but some loan officers do. So it isn't something that you necessarily have to pay cash for either. So if that's something that you have an interest in, you can always obtain a home loan for that. So let's talk about some of these financial strategies that we can use um, to try to get ahead. Let's see, 10 money management tips. Okay. All right, y'all. Let me move this here. Okay. Now, I'll tell you this about me. I'm relatively transparent about things. Like I am a product of failing forward. Sometimes things good, sometimes things bad. I make mistakes. We're all in the same boat. So it's definitely not a judgment zone. Like, it can be difficult getting financial advice from somebody like a Dave Ramsey or a Susie Orman. It's like, but you got millions. So like, you're not in tune with real life. You don't know what it's like out here. So, but I did go over these, and I thought that these were pretty good. But I do want to say, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. And my role in your overall finances is limited to home loans, which I've already stated earlier is something that you can leverage to do other things to help you grow your finances and your overall wealth and your generational wealth. So here we go. It's the tip number one says know your money priorities. A lot of times we don't. We want to go what feels good right now and not necessarily what you need, like establishing an emergency fund. So an emergency fund is typically some savings that you're going to have that's going to be about 6 months of your living expenses, all of your bills. So if you spend, if you have $5,000 a month in bills, and you need to have $30,000 saved somewhere in a bank account. So that's one thing that I will absolutely say. A lot of times, we deem things to be priorities when they're really not priorities. Like, I need to get my hair done. Like, do you really need to spend $400 to get your hair done, girl? Probably not. You probably got a home girl that can hook you up just the same. But that's another story for another day, because those are some of the priorities that I struggle with. But but yeah, you gotta make sure that you have a very clear plan, and that your goals and the way that you're moving is gonna align with the way that you're spending your money. So please, please, please be very careful about understanding what you want versus what you need, because it can be very, very easy, and it'd be a slippery slope to be like, oh, I need to get such and such and so and so. Like here it says, if it's a vacation or a wedding that you want to save for, it don't do it gotta be, so lavish. Probably not. You feel like you need to have that lavish vacation, or that you deserve that lavish vacation, or that you need to have that elaborate wedding, and y'all gonna break up in 2 years. But that's another social commentary for another day. Tip number two is determine your monthly pay. Y'all have no idea how many people I talk to. They have no idea how much money they make every month. It is wild to me. I used to think that when I would talk to people and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm not sure." I used to think, "Oh, dang, they must make a lot of money," but that's not the case. Determine your monthly pay. And I will tell you this, you don't make as much money as you think you make, which is why you spend more money and you end up kind of in the red because you haven't factored in that the money that you get is after taxes, especially if you are not self-employed. So you have to budget based on your net income and not your gross income, which I have a video where I've talked about, how much does it really cost to live in Charlotte? You could take that and put any city name on it that you want to, because the formula is going to be pretty similar, but you're not factoring in every expense that you have, which is why you have to dip into credit cards a lot of times, because it's like, oh, this emergency came up, I don't have enough money to get a tire or whatever it is, and you've overspent, the fact that you get $2,000 net per 2 weeks, so $4,000 net per month. You make $6,000, but in your head, oh, I make $6,000 a month, and you spend $6,000 a month. So you gotta be really careful about that. So determine your monthly pay. That is a huge, huge thing. Number three, track where you spend your money. I'm gonna tell you the scariest place that I have ever been in my entire life was my bank statement. It's wild. It's wild in there. Trips to Target, Starbucks, nickel and diamond. My son will nickel and dime me to death. I swear he will, y'all. It's utterly ridiculous. But you know, track where you spend your money because it will surprise you every time. You think you only spend, $20 or $30 a month at Starbucks, but it swells up to the fact that you spending $300 a month at Starbucks. I've seen it. Now, I've personally not done that, but I've seen it. Now Starbucks has an app, and a lot of these places they have apps where you can like load the app with a certain amount of money, like Chick-fil-A. Load it with your $20 or your $30 for the month and call it a day because it goes so quick and you don't even realize that you spent the money that you spent. So I will always recommend that pull your bank statements and really like take a deep dive and like how much money did I spend on groceries, how much money did I spend eating out, how much money did I spend in gas, just all of the things that you don't think about. You just kind of swipe it and you get it. Oh, I'm hungry, let me swipe my card. Oh, I need some gas, let me fill it up or whatever. It goes very, very, very quickly. Number four is have a plan. You definitely want to make sure that you're not overspending, especially if you're trying to save money for a house or something specific like that. You want to make sure that you're allocating your money to your 401k. One of the biggest things I always hear people say in the financial planning space is that you should pay yourself first. Whether that you tithe, you want to have a plan, so you include that. You want to have a plan that includes miscellaneous things. You may be over that. I follow this one lady, Fun and Budget with Tanisha. I think it's Tanisha Davis. Super, super, super good channel. Like my girl is trying to pay down her mortgage. And she had a video that she put up earlier today where she's like, here, boom, I made $20,000 net this month. Okay, $700 went here, $8,000 went here, $45 went here. I mean, she tracks it all. So you got to have a plan. And she even talks about, this is what I thought I was going to do, this is what I actually did. And so she pays attention. So you got to pay attention. But like I said, one of the scariest places on earth to be is your bank statements. Lord knows. And so make sure you stick to the plan. That's the thing. Like it takes a lot of financial discipline if you're trying to save up for something and save up a lot of money for something. No, you don't need 20% to purchase a house, but you may need $20,000. You may need $30,000, to be able to fully get through the entire process. And, saying, oh, well, I'll figure out a way to make that $1,000 up. Oh, you might need to cut some things out, these nails, hair. You might need to cut out eating out. I remember that's what I had to do when I was buying my house. It was no nails. I don't remember what I did with my hair, but I wasn't spending a lot. I know that. I think I had a short haircut. I can't remember. But I wasn't spending like an exorbitant amount, I wasn't buying clothes because I was trying to stick to my plan. Like I knew, like, okay, every month I need to save $1,500 to go towards this house budget, or whatever the amount of money was. I can't remember. Number 6, expect emergencies. No one plans for an emergency. No one plans for a car accident. No one plans to have a hysterectomy. Nobody plans for an appendectomy. Nobody plans for, unforeseen things. That's why they're called emergencies, right? You have emergencies that happen, and you want to have some money, set aside for it. So that goes back to that 6 months that I was talking about a little bit earlier. You can lose your job. Preferably you won't, but because we are, headed to this recession, you're starting to see tech workers get laid off. We're starting to hear about McDonald's laying people off. And if McDonald's is laying people off, that really makes me feel like these layoffs are coming down everybody's street. So you want to make sure that you're tightening up your wallet, maybe not going on a lavish vacation. Maybe you can go to a local beach instead of going to a beach out of the country. So just be mindful about that and just tighten up. And like I said, expect the unexpected because you never know what can happen. Back to, earlier I was saying, everybody is living paycheck to paycheck. What does that mean? You are one paycheck away from being quote unquote homeless. So, and I mean, I am. Shoot, it's a lot of people. Like I said, I'm not going to get on here and act like I'm up here, I'm above everybody. I'm a regular person. I tell people I give real estate advice for real people in real life. But planning for emergencies is certainly something that a lot of people don't do. And you want to make sure that you do, because these credit card balances are increasing. These credit card payments are going up. So do the very best that you can with that. Number 7 says save early and often. Yeah, pay yourself. Pay yourself first. Make sure you're using all of the outlets. If your company is going to match 6% and give you 6% of free money, then give them people 6% of your paycheck. If you need that money, you can always go get it. I'm not recommending that you go get it, but I'm saying you're saving money. Get into that habit of saving your money as much as you can. You want to start that 401k savings as soon as you can. It's hard to think about being 62 when you're 22 years old. In my head, I'm still 22 years old and I'm not 22 years old. It seems like it's so far away, but I'm telling you, time flies. So you want to save as much as you can, while these things are still available. Companies don't give pensions the way that they used to. If you can get one, you might need to stay with that company as long as you can. Get vested, really make decisions based off of the future you. What would your future you thank you for? And go with that, because money is a very emotional thing. People get tied to their money emotionally. They get tied to the things that they spend their money on. And when you spend money, it does make you feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. That's why, people, they may feel sad and they go and they say, oh, I'm going to give myself some retail therapy. Like, it does psychologically do things to you when you spend money and you feel this sense of instant gratification. But, you won't feel that way if, you need $1,500 for an emergency and you don't have it. Number 8, take advantage of free money. That's the 401k. Relook your debt. So basically, here, back to number 2, what can you try to save on? What can you consolidate? One thing that I do every single year is when I'm going in my bank statements, and it's so scary, is I'll go and I'll see what kind of subscriptions have I signed up for throughout the course of the year. Like, did I get on Tinder because I was bored and I wanted somebody to like me? Is that money still coming out of my account? I'll look to see, Netflix, am I really watching it, or these HBO things? Like, pay attention to the way that, like I said, your money is being nickeled and dimed away that you don't even realize is happening right in front of your face. Look to see, can you renegotiate your cable package if you have cable. Maybe there's a better phone plan, a cell phone plan that's out there. Maybe you can refinance some debt or consolidate some debt. Now's probably not the time to do that because interest rates are up, but if interest rates go down, you may want to revisit something like that to be able to save a couple $100 a month. And then, everybody's different. Number 10 says find what works and keep doing that. So find what works and keep doing that. Everybody can't be on the same plan. Everybody don't have the same financial challenges or the same financial circumstances. If you are somebody that can put $8,000 a month on your mortgage extra, you got it. Go off. But if you're somebody that, you struggling to pay the daycare bill, um, you're going to be in a different scenario, which is why I say, it can be a little challenging listening to some of the advice that a lot of the financial gurus give, because they got millions of dollars and they're not thinking on that same level. So those are, some really good plans, I think, to or tips that will help get you started, um, and help put you on the right pathway towards, being a little bit more financially literate or financially educated. You don't have to do all 10 of those things at the same time. Maybe just implement one thing at a time. Like, challenge yourself tonight before you go to bed. Go log into your Wells Fargo or your Bank of America account and take a look at it. Really, literally, like, go through it line by line. How many times did you swipe your debit card to eat out, knowing that you had just bought $400 in groceries at Walmart? Oh God, I'm terrible, y'all. It happens though. Are you, swiping your card, too much? Did you just have to have $150 worth of stuff at Target? Probably not, especially when you only went in there for like two things. So go do that. I challenge you. Go tonight. Look at your bank statement, your most recent bank statement. Go through it, divide it up. How much money did you spend on your rent? How much money did you spend on your light bill? That's another tip. And it's something that I actually did recently. I did an equal pay. So it won't be up and down. So my gas bill is going to be the same every month. My electricity bill is going to be the same every month. For some reason, I still cannot wrap my head around why my T-Mobile bill moves around. Like, I don't get that. It don't make any sense whatsoever to me. Every single month is different. I don't know why. But it shouldn't be different. But try to get on some sort of equal pay so you can make sure you're planning and you're able to save like the same $50 per pay period or the same $250 per pay period, and you don't have the ups and downs when it comes to that sort of thing. Hey, out here trucking, how you doing? He says, I once totaled the amount of money I spent for a month eating out, and I was ashamed of myself. Me too. That's where all the money is. All the money is in food and gas. And I was saying last week, when it comes to the CPI index, which is the consumer price index, which is what they determine the inflation, like how much is everything up year over year. They don't include food and they don't include gas. And that's what everybody spends all their money on. In real life, that stuff is up 20%, 30% year over year. So, if we spent $5,000 more last year in 2022 than we did in 2021, oh my God, I don't even want to begin to imagine how much more we're spending in 2023. Like, that's why I'm on the YouTube. That's why I'm on the YouTube. I mean, side hustles look different for everybody. Question. Mr. CKB says, when is it a good time to buy? Let's say money is not the issue. Should we wait or should we move forward? I can't advise on a good time to buy. I mean, a good time to buy is whenever you're ready. A good time to buy is, does that particular situation or house that you're looking at meet your short-term and long-term goals? Everybody's goals are different. Everybody has, different short-term and long-term goals. I have a lady right now that she's wanting to purchase a home in an area. I think I pre-approved her for like $225,000. Well, they don't have $225,000 houses in her area. And I was going to give her some down payment assistance. And one of the down payment assistance programs is not forgivable. So that means she would have to keep that, I think it was like $50,000 or something like that for 30 years. For her, considering that she doesn't want to move ever again, now's a good time to buy. Everybody's different. You will see channels that are trying to scare you to death, and they are hyping up things that may or may not be true for every area. Real estate is local. What happens in California, it will eventually wash over the rest of the nation. Typically, whatever the trends and things are will start out in California first, and then it kind of, comes over. But more often than not, whatever is going on in your area is what's going on in your area. Do you live in an area where there's a mass exodus of people or a mass influx of people? If you live in an area like I do, where people are coming to the city or to that area, with higher paying jobs in droves, then you might not be in a situation where you're looking at, the purchase prices to be on a downward spiral. They might tick down a little bit, but not anything like I said that some newspaper articles or some channels like CNBC would have you to believe. You have got to think, when you're listening to financial channels, like I said, whether it be me, YouTube, CNBC, everybody got an agenda. Like, let's keep it real. What I look like telling you to not buy a house when my job is to fund loans for people buying houses, right? But more often than not, I mean, you could hear in my voice if I'm bullshitting you or not. Like, it's just, every situation is going to be a little bit different. CNBC, while they have, these correspondents and reporters that get paid six figures to tell you what to do with your money, y'all, they're all funded by advertisers, and they need eyeballs on the screen to pay the bills. Okay. So they're going to tell you, if it's something that is going to scare you, they're going to talk about that more. They're going to hype it up more. They're going to exaggerate it more. That's equivalent to saying, oh, foreclosures are up 150%. Okay, cool. Maybe because a year ago, no one was allowed to be foreclosed on. Like, you got to put things in context, and you have to start asking questions on top of the information that's being presented, and start looking at things a little bit more critically. But overall, is the housing market a good housing market? Yes. Why do I say it's a good housing market? Because there is more demand than supply. That's a basic rule. Like, if you don't have enough stuff to go around, then stuff is going to continue to increase in price. It's not me making up anything. I didn't make up the rules, but those are the facts. I think we're something like 6 million houses short of what we would need to create a balanced supply. So, depending on your short-term and long-term financial goals, that will determine whether or not it's a good time to buy. If you want to buy a house and you think that thing going up 20%, you're going to get $100,000 out, and that's going to be, the key to financial freedom, now you might have missed your window. Get that YouTube money. I'm trying. I actually started the channel because I wanted it to be a way for me to educate people, because I'm trying my hardest to fight against TikTok, y'all. I'm over here fighting for my life. TikTok has a lot of, I don't want to say bad information, but a lot of misleading sound bites, and people are taking it and they're running with it. So I tried the best that I can to put meat on the bones and provide additional context to some of the things that you see, because my philosophy and my thought is, an educated buyer is going to make educated decisions. And sometimes I might not be the best decision, and I'm okay with that. But I don't ever want to see anybody at a financial disadvantage because somebody's taking advantage of them. And quite frankly, that is happening a lot. People are out here taking advantage of people. And I want to be able to sleep at night personally. Um, so yeah, so it may fall in my favor and it may not, and it's okay. So let me try and get to a couple questions here. Hey, out here truck. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I was checking my notes because I was gonna read a couple questions that I got. And I got a cash out from Out Here Trucking for $50. He says, for a great show tonight and lots of great info. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. You always show up. You always support me. And I really do appreciate that. Like, that means a whole lot because Lord knows this is about the most consistent I have been on YouTube, like doing this every Tuesday. Because I was having a hard time trying to figure out my balance of like, oh, well, what can I talk about? Oh, I'm going to record about such and such and so and so. And then I would record it. And then I would never edit it and I wouldn't upload it. And it just, these lives is what's going to have to work for me. And then throughout the week, I may break it up into pieces, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. I'm trying to get monetized. I got like 1,300 watch hours and I need 4,000. 4,000 watch hours. And I need another like 350 subscribers or so. So I still have a ways to go, but slow and steady wins the race. It's okay. So I have a couple questions. I don't know if I'll get to all of them, but okay. So the first question here, it says, why won't my lender give me a pre-approval without documentation? I just want to know where I stand. So the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification is that one is, okay, you've proved to me what you've said on your loan application. And the other one is, I'm gonna take your word for it. Good luck out there. So a pre-qualification is not a pre-approval. So can you get a letter from a lender? Yes, you absolutely can without any documentation. But if you're not able to get the loan funded, that's on you. And you may be subjecting yourself to a situation where you are losing thousands of dollars. You could be losing money in earnest money. You could be losing money in due diligence, like I'm here in North Carolina. And for those of you that are watching, if you are in North Carolina, due diligence is money that you take from your bank account and you give directly to the seller. And basically, it's an incentive that says, oh, I'm for real. I'm going to buy your house. And if for some reason your financing falls apart or you choose to walk away from that house, they have your money. Like, you're not getting it back. It doesn't come back to you. So if you want to make an offer on a house without a full pre-approval, where somebody has reviewed your documents, calculated your income based on your W-2, based on your pay stubs, if they've not delved deeply into, oh, okay, we're counting overtime. Did you get the same amount of overtime last year? Have you been at this job for 2 years for us to even count this overtime? If they're not able to ask the questions that meet the precipice where loans fall apart, you could be putting yourself in a horrible financial position. And I just talked to you about different ways that you can improve your finances. Imagine going through all of that for 2 or 3 years and saving up $30,000 or $40,000, and you lose $10,000 because you didn't want somebody to ask you a few extra questions. So this question, yeah, you may want to see where you stand, but if somebody doesn't look at all of your documentation, you may have a false sense of where you stand because we won't know all of the pieces of information to be able to give you an adequate answer. So we may say, oh yeah, you could qualify for $450,000, and you're out and you tell your realtor, I can get $450,000. That's the only thing you're gonna hear. You're never gonna hear the part where we say, oh, if you do all of these things. So that's where a pre-qualification goes wrong. Is y'all don't listen. People don't listen. No, I don't listen either, but people don't listen. You thinking you can qualify for way more than you can actually qualify for. So that is why they're honestly they're protecting themselves, but really they're protecting you too. Well, no, I'm lying. This it's less than protecting themselves. Like we care about our names, but I could tell you for a fact that when I worked at the bank, we ain't get no documentation. We ain't care. That's a you problem. If you want to go out here and make offers and lose your money, that is your problem. That is a you problem, and that is how we looked at it when I worked where I used to work. It's mean, but it's not wrong. So you have to protect yourself by having somebody take a look at all of the pieces and make sure that you're not subjecting yourself to any undue financial duress because you have overextended yourself or lost money. Okay. So that's that. When shopping for lenders, what is the best way to go about it? Is it possible to get multiple pre-approvals? Yes. So if you are shopping for a loan, okay. So yes, you can get multiple pre-approvals from different lenders. Okay. So I'm not saying that you can't do it, but what I am saying is that there is a strategy to it. So if you are interested in getting a pre-approval and you think you are ready to go, my suggestion is the first thing that you need to do is get an answer of if you can even buy a house. Don't worry about all the different line items and the rate and how much stuff costs. Who cares? You need to be prioritizing, can I buy a house? That is the first thing that I would recommend. If you are interested in getting multiple pre-approvals, I don't know why you would need multiple pre-approvals, but if that's the life that you want, fine. I'm going to tell you now, you don't know what you're doing. Okay. I don't care how many YouTube videos you watch, you do not know what you're doing. The only thing that you need to know is I qualify for X dollars payment per month that translates into X dollars pre-approval amount for a purchase price. Once you're under contract, that is when I would recommend you have a conversation with, maybe two other lenders. I mean, you really don't need more than two or three different offers. And you need to get a couple of key pieces of information. What is the rate and what are those lender fees? That's it. Y'all be all down the page looking at line 17, not knowing what it is. What is a flood cert? Why does this flood cert? That the only pieces of information that you need that the lenders control is the rate, any fees like points that go with that rate, and their origination cost. So, for example, if I'm shopping for a home loan and I'm under contract today and I want to lock in a rate today, I need to contact two, maybe three lenders today and compare apples to apples. What happens today versus what's going to happen at 10:30 in the morning when the market opens up and the new rates come out. We don't know how Trump's arraignment may have impacted the market. We have no idea. We don't know what other things may have happened overnight or 2 or 3 days from now that could impact pricing. So if you're going to shop, one, be in a position where you're going to be able to lock the loan that day. You're going to get 2 or 3 different loan estimates. And the only thing that you're shopping for, I would suggest, is the actual rate, because that way you can see if the rates cost different amounts of money. So, for example, a 6.5 interest rate. Okay. ABC Mortgage is gonna give me a 6.5 interest rate. Joy, what can you do? I don't know. How much are they charging you for that rate? Oh, nothing at all. They told me it was nothing. Okay, well, send it to me. Let me look at it. Let me look at your loan estimate. I get the loan estimate. Okay, cool. They're charging you $3,000 to get a 6.5% rate. Okay, so now what am I going to do? I'm going to look at that same identical rate, and I'm going to look, and maybe my 6.5 doesn't charge you $3,000 to get that rate. So between those two, which one is better? Look at what's the same and look at what's different. Your rate is the same, so nothing to see here. But the discount points, you may find yourself spending more money out of pocket that way. And then the third line item is, well, how much they charge me to do the loan? What is their origination or their lender fees? One lender might have $1,000, another lender might have, $1,600. Those are the only three things that you need to take a look at. And because, like I said, pricing changes from day to day, you need to do that all on the same day. But as far as shopping for a quote unquote pre-approval, child, you stressing yourself out, and you stressing your loan officers out too, because let me tell you what they don't want to do. They don't want to be bothered with you coming back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and you ain't got no house yet. Because it's a lot of what ifs. If was a fifth. Like, I'm just telling you. So get the pre-approval, see if you can even buy a house, and then worry about all that other stuff on the back end, because it doesn't matter. Mr. CKB says, question, let's say one makes $40,000 annually, but they have $50,000 in the bank. They see a home for 300. No. If they see a home going for $300,000, will they be able to qualify for that? So that's a good question. No. Well, I'll answer it two ways. So the short answer is no, because whenever we qualify people, one of the things that I like to tell people is that the way that loans are set up in this country is it caters to poorer people. And when I say poor, I mean regular working class, like you make $150,000, like regular people, not millionaires. Um, we're looking at your month to month income. If you can't show me a month to month income, we don't really have no words for you. Now, on the other side of that is there's a loan product that's considered a non-QM loan product, which is non-QM is something kind of like outside the box. So it's not just standard vanilla 30-year fixed conventional loan. That process that, let's say you had, and I'm making this number up, $500,000 in the bank. Well, we can do something called asset depletion, where basically we would take the payment and amortize it. Do you have that much money in the bank to, fulfill this amount for the course of that 15, 30 years or whatever the loan term is? But more often than not, people don't. And so they go with a standard loan. And in this case, for your example, if you make $40,000 annually and you want a $300,000 home, if you're not putting down a significant amount of money in the bank, even if you are putting down $50,000, if you took every dime you had, the math on that is not likely to work out favorably because of the debt to income ratio. So I hope that was helpful. It would definitely be challenging because ultimately, like I said, it all comes down to your debt to income ratio. How much money do you have coming in versus how much you have going out month to month? Not necessarily how much money you have in the bank. It's helpful to have money in the bank because it makes your overall profile look really good. Like if you have a rainy day, like we were talking about earlier, it does beef up your application. It makes us feel better about lending a large amount of money, but it doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. In other words, could a person get a loan that's cash strong but not income strong? Yeah, definitely got to have that month to month income, unless you have enough money to like pay the loan. I mean, buy the house in cash or pay enough money for the loan amount to be low enough for you to be able to have a payment that will work for that debt to income ratio. And remember, it's gross monthly income, not net income. So back to those 10 tips. think about that when you're moving forward on a purchase, because we don't care nothing about your bills outside of the bills that you owe us and the bills that show up on your credit report. Okay. But for somebody that has a lot of money, when I say it will help with your overall credit profile, it helps to offset negative things. So if you're someone that has a lower credit score, um, and you have a lot of money in the bank, then it would be seen as favorable, not favorable to the underwriter, but favorable to the automated underwriting system, because we run it through a computer and it looks at everything. It looks at all of your bullet points, your credit score, how much debt you have, your debt to income ratio, how much money you got in the bank, all of that. And it can be very, very helpful if you find yourself in a situation where you might have a lower credit score, but a good amount of money in the bank. And by good amount of money, I'm defining that as like 3 or 4, mortgage payments. You don't have to have like an exorbitant amount of money in the bank. 300,000 exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is. Yep. It's roughly $2,000 a month. And so $40,000 income is, what is that? 3750. $40,000. What did you say? 40,000, excuse me, $40,000 a year. Why am I typing this wrong? Jesus Christ. $40,000 divided by 12 is, okay, 3333. And so on a $2,000 payment, that's 60%. So you'll be way over your debt ratio. So you are absolutely right. There's no way. But just for kicks and giggles, if you have $40,000 annual salary, the most debt that you can have, mortgage, credit cards, car payment, everything, is about 1666. So that's gonna be 200,000, a little less than 200,000, somewhere in that ballpark. And these numbers can change drastically because the interest rates change. So, all right, you guys, I am gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate you guys coming to join me, but I have to go pick up my little boy from football practice. Well, he's not a little boy, but let's see. What does this say? Mr. CKB says, could you break down what a monthly payment of $300,000 should be? How do they come up with the number? Oh, that's a really good question. So you can go on any, like if you go and Google an amortization calculator, and if you want a 30-year loan, determine, let's say $300,000, you want to subtract out whatever your down payment is going to be, and that and whatever the going interest rate is, which again is available on any website. And that'll give you a principal and interest payment. The part that seems to fall apart for a lot of people when they're projecting what they think the payment is going to be without speaking to a professional is they don't include property taxes, homeowners insurance, or mortgage insurance. Property taxes, a general rule of thumb is take 1.25% of your purchase price and annualize it, and then divide it by 12 for the monthly amount. Homeowners insurance is 0.35%. And then, that's for an annual number, and then you divide by 12 for a monthly amount. And then your mortgage insurance is a little tricky depending on the type of loan that you get. But generally, let's say FHA, then it would be, you would multiply your loan amount times 0.55% for the annual amount, and then, divide by 12 for a monthly amount. It's a lot more difficult for a conventional loan because different mortgage insurance companies have different factors, and I don't know what those factors are. Well, I'm lying. I do know, but I don't know the number, like the numeric factors, because they're underwriting to the risk. So things that might help with that to keep it kind of low is if you have more than one borrower on the loan, your debt to income ratio, your credit score, all of that. Because you got to remember with mortgage insurance, what they're looking at is this person going to make their payment? And if they don't, we on the hook. We got to pay this money on their behalf to make sure that the bank is whole again. This ain't going to work out. So it's going to be risk-based. Again, and that's just for a conventional loan for their mortgage insurance. Which, when is my next live session? So next Tuesday, I'm going to try to do it. I can't guarantee it, but this is my Mortgage Boss Talk Tuesday. So I'm trying to do this every Tuesday between 7 and 8 o'clock. And just answer whatever questions you have. I have lots of videos that are already there, so please go and take a look at some of those. It'll probably answer a lot of your questions. I have videos about income, videos about assets, loan products, just scenarios, just all types of information that's already available for you to take a look at. But I'm going to actually be on spring break next week. I'm going to go on a cruise, and I'm really excited about that. So hopefully, if I can get good reception, I'll still do it. But right, trying to get these watch hours. Hopefully, I'll be able to still do it. But if not, then I will be back the following Tuesday, same time, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, because that's what really works for my schedule the most. And my analytics say that people are watching during that time as well. But it looks like more people started to come in at 8 o'clock. So I don't even know. I don't know. But my sessions may end up being a little bit longer once my son is done with his football. He's never played tackle football before, and so he wants to try it. He boxes, that's his zhuzh. And so his boxing is done at 6 o'clock, but he wants to get into tackle football before he goes into high school. So we trying that out. Pray for him. He's skinny. Y'all. I'm thin. Well, I was thin. I done filled out since I turned 35, but anyway, but I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you so much. Again, please, if you've not hit the like button, please get my likes up for me, please, so they'll push this video out. Comment if you have more questions. I'm more than happy to answer the questions that you have in the comments. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please go follow me on Instagram. It's _mortgage_boss. It's a good time over there. You get all of me over there. All of me over there in my real life. So if you want to know more about like who I am and how I roll when I be in these streets, because the streets be calling my name. Oh, y'all, I'll be outside. But yeah, go follow me over there. And I share advice and things in real time, like situations. Like I got a story time later on tonight. Matter of fact, I might share it tomorrow about somebody who tried to commit mortgage fraud today. We'll talk about it on my Instagram if you want to hear about that. So go follow me over there. But anyway, y'all, let's keep the conversation going. Please. I gotta go pick up this boy. If you guys have questions, please leave them in the comments. If you've not subscribed, I'm begging you, please subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe too, because I really need to hit this 1,000 subscribers. And if you've not watched any of my videos and you think that anything that I've given you has any value whatsoever, please go binge watch some of my other content so I can get my time up. Please. I'd appreciate it. Also, if you think that you may be interested in applying for a home loan, I'm licensed in 13 different states, and that information is also in the description box below, as well as all of my contact information if you would like to talk about your individual scenario. I'm more than happy to assist you. So anyway, you say you box professionally? Oh, my child, he think he Golden Gloves out here. It's ridiculous. He watched the movie Creed when Creed first came out. I think he was about 7 years old, and I showed him all the Rocky movies before, so he would like understand the context and all. And I think he watched them Rocky movies, and I'm not even exaggerating. I think that Nick Jr. never played in my house ever again after that. He was watching Rocky movies for like 6 months. It was ridiculous. But now, we have a couple of different places here that he could go. He goes to a place called Dime Boxing, and they are trying to get him up to a place where he's going to be able to box in a boxing match. So we're coming up on, it'll be 2 years in June. So hopefully he's ready, because he's dying to get punched in the face. Everybody got a plan so they get punched in the face, which is why I'm here. So you don't get punched in the face when it's time for you to apply for a home loan. All right, I'm out. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.